Alrighty my dudes, and welcome back to the Triple Lock channel. I hope you're all doing epic. For a little topic today on cornering, a much requested, and I'm very pleased to do this video actually, because who the hell doesn't love cornering on a motorcycle? But before we get into that today guys, I just want to do a quick little thing about the Street Triple. And as you can already tell in the title, I'm actually saying goodbye to it, hopefully this week. And I'm actually trading up for something a little bit different. I'm not going to say what it is yet, because where's the fun in that? I wouldn't say I've outgrown this bike. I have a few more uses that I need from a bike that this just can't perform at the moment. But you'll find it all out in my next video when I get it. I'll try to do a video of me picking it up, but you know what it's like when you get something new. It's all very exciting. You know, I'm probably not gonna be able to sleep the night before, wake up stupid early, go grab it, you know, excitement and whatnot. But either way, I'll do a video when I pick up a new bike. Anyway, so I digress. On to the topic of today, which is cornering. Much requested by a few people actually within the same week, which is quite odd timing. But yeah, nice shout out to Ollie and Us2 and Ruby. Check Us2 and Ruby out on Instagram, and Ollie Wilson, I'll leave his Instagram handle on there. He's a wicked young photographer, very talented. I do believe if he keeps it up, he certainly could be a big name in the photography game. So, excellent guys. So, what is the secret art of cornering? And you wouldn't believe it, but there isn't a secret art to it. Until you're sort of hanging off like Marquez, you know, giving it the big end, elbows down, knees down, heads down, all that malarkey. But what it really is, it's down to a few fundamental things that you could do to make it easier on yourself, make it easier for other people to see you and predict what you're going to do, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so let's talk about these fundamentals. First and foremost is your visibility. So how visible are you to other road users? Second being vision. What can you see when you're approaching the bend, in the bend, and coming out of the bend? And going where you look. You need to focus, because there's this wicked thing with cornering. It's called target fixating. And target fixating is basically where you look where you get scared that you're going to go, and you focus on that instead of what you should be focusing on, which is around the corner. You know, you should be focusing on where you want to be, not where you think you're going to go. Next being body position is one of the very key fundamentals into making you actually feel more comfortable and more attached to the road, more attached to the bike. And we're not talking about, like I said earlier, hanging a big Marquez, you know, elbows down and all that. But what we can do is start from the top, work your way to the bottom, head, body, bike. So you go where you're looking. We do this instinctively. You know, wherever you look, you go towards. Next being your arms and your chest. Point your chest in the direction you want to go as well, and dip your elbow on the side that you're turning into. What I like to do is put my head a little bit towards the mirror, and then what we do is then we create like now, do you remember those things that we used to use in school in maths, where you put the pencil in and it's got the spike? I think it's called a compass. It's not a protractor. I think my wife actually corrected me on that at some point, but clearly I didn't pass school. You know, I was that donut in the corner, that little scrote with the dunce hat on. I'm not actually that old, but you know, if I was that old, I probably would have been the kid in the corner with the dunce hat on. Anyway, I digress. So if you imagine yourself like a compass with the pencil in it, and to make that full circle, you have to have the spike of the compass centered. So if you imagine yourself as the spike, and the bike being the pencil that is going around, and you're drawing a perfect circle with the bike. And the way we do that is we lean off a little, lean onto your cheek, lean onto it, lean your head over slightly, dip your elbow, look in the direction you want to go. Don't target fixate on what you think you're going to hit, because if you think you're going to hit it anyway, then you might as well try your absolute best to get out of there. But even with all this being said, it's not always 100% completely necessary to get right down and move around big. It doesn't require big movements. You can stay fairly neutral on a bike, as you can see. But when I talk about these extra things, like where you put your head, where you put your elbow, where you put, what cheek you lean on, and that's more for extra comfort, extra stability, and extra connection to the bike. And especially when it's raining under slippery surfaces, and the idea of actually going through the bend as safe as possible is to actually decrease the amount of lean angle as much as you can. So you don't want to be banking the bike right over it if you can help it. You don't need to. There are other ways to do it. Like I said, by leaning off, you're causing that compass effect. So now you've got all that locked into your head. What about what to actually do with the bike? Well, you do a lot of things automatically. So we do this thing automatically called counter steering. And what counter steering is the way that the handlebars move in conjunction to the turn. So when you push on the handlebars, your front wheel automatically goes one way and then falls in to the bend. But it's quite slight, you won't really notice it. But if I say to you that when you're going through your bend, you want to push the handlebar that is going into your turn. So if you're going to a left bend, you want to push your left handlebar forward. You want to go to a right hand, you push your right handlebar forward. So not down. Don't need to wrestle it, keep your arms nice and loose. So with counter steering, we've been doing this since you were a child on your push bike. And the way it works is, if I push on my left handlebar, I'll do it with my one finger. Push, and you see the bike turns. I'm not doing anything else with my other hand other than, just resting it on my bike, just keeping the throttle going. And the same works for the right hand side. So push left to go left, push right to go right. Nice and simple. So now we've got your vision. So you're looking where you want to go, you're focusing a bit more, you're not target fixating. You've now got your body position sorted, because it's not big movements, it's just leaning and just little things like that. Let's talk about your visibility, and I'll combine this into two ways, because it's about your road position is to help other people see you. If I've got a right hand bend, my instinct is to stick further over to the left. Now, don't get wrong, I don't always follow these rules, like gospel, because you never know what's in the bend, you never know what you might need to change. There might be a bit of cow dung in the road, an animal, a person may have jumped out, or whatever it is that you need to avoid. So that's why it's key that on the public roads you're not giving it the big one, trying to hang off and go nuts like you're on track. It's just not wise. Whatever you do in your spare time, completely up to you. I'm not judging you, I'm just simply highlighting what is best practice. So if you're going around a right hand bend, I tend to stick more over to the left, or maybe even towards the centre, just sort of in between position 1 and 2. I don't want to be in the crud. That's where I don't want to be, in that stuff. And if I'm going around a left hand bend, I will still try to edge more towards the outside of the bend, towards the white line, but I'm not wanting to be over here so that my handlebars are over the other side, my head's over. I just enough to be able to get a bit more visibility, so other people can see me better as I'm coming around, but also better vision so I can see what's coming around the corner as best as I can. Whee! Nice bump. So your positioning sorted, your body position sorted, you're looking where you need to go, you got your counter steering in your head, so you know how that works now. Now let's combine it all together. So as you notice me sort of burning through these corners, I'm not creating big movements, I'm just leaning off slightly, dipping my elbow down, looking through, leaning on my butt cheek, all in one setting. And it's only because I've built more confidence over the years that I can maneuver these bends a lot easier. Sticking more the outside, looking around, nothing big, I'm not hanging off, I'm not trying to drag knee, being a bit cautious because I can't see around the bend, and now I can see, now I'll power out as I straighten up. On the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes, looking through, steering nearer to the outside, and I can pull myself in now, I know there's nothing there. Pull back to the outside, looking through the bend, not fixating on what I think I could go into, because I don't care about that, I'm not going into that. I'm going where I'm looking. Epic feeling knowing you're bossing corners, and you will do, it just takes time. Outside, looking through the bend, moving to the outside of the bend, and that's it, nice and simple. I say that's it, and it's very easy for somebody with more experience to say this, because to somebody without the experience, they don't know how far they can lean the bike over and things like that. But like I highlighted earlier about the whole compass theory, this, that and the other, take your time, you will get used to it, a bit more comfortable leaning over. If you're a bit nervous to bank the bike over a bit more, go and practice some things in the car park. You know, go and bank over a little bit more. You know, practice some counter steering while you're doing slow maneuvers. So I'm preparing for a bend. I've scrubbed off enough speed. I'm hanging out a little bit on the outside, and I'm looking through the bend. See, I didn't need to make much body position adjustment at all. I'm looking around the bend, and I'm in. See, my instincts are working that counter steering all on its own. That's not me consciously doing it. But if you are conscious of it, and you feel that you need to make more of a change, you can just push a little bit more. But do your best that while you're in the bends, not to adjust if you can help it, because you don't want to unsettle the bike. So don't be chopping and on and off the throttle. You don't want to be doing none of that. You don't want to be anchoring on the front brakes mid-bend. That is that is definitely not a wise thing to do at all. So what I tend to do, and my favourite brake on the bike is my rear brake, not only for slow maneuvers but also for these long sweeping bends. You know, it can help me sort of get it under control. It helps the back dip it a little more, gives my rear tyre that little more traction. It's very, you know, hard to notice it, but you know, not only can it help me in the dry gain some more stability, but even more so in the wet. Now, I'm not like stamping on it, that's for sure. I'm just, you know, just giving it a little dab, you know, just a little bit of feathering. So I find that really helps. We're not trying to lock up the brakes, we're not trying to anchor on, but just trying to gain as much stability as we can, and at least that way we don't have to make big adjustments to, you know, try to scrub off our speed, and we're not going to try to go for our front brake. We want to avoid that. Get all your braking done before the turn as best you can. Now, do not confuse this for more advanced techniques such as trail braking. I'm not going to go over this in this video. This is for the, you know, for the very basics of getting you round the bends more comfortable and feeling a little bit more safe. Maybe in the future I'll go over trail braking, but I don't want to encourage new riders to try this without being so sure of, you know, the techniques that you do at the start, because it is not a technique for beginners. Anyway, I digress on that matter. It doesn't need to be a complicated art, but the worst thing you could possibly do is try to overload yourself with loads and loads of information. Now, I know I'm throwing a load at you, but if you could try to have a little think about what it is that you are not finding you're progressing so well with. Take a little bit of what I've said today. So if it's you're finding that your counter steering is complicated, it's a bit confusing to you, go and practice that. If you're finding that you know, it was you having to scrub speed off beforehand, then don't try to take the bend so quick to begin with. Start off slower and build up and build up. You know, you're not in a race with nobody. You don't need to learn this super fast. You know, there's all the time in the world to get it. It will come. Anyway guys, I do hope this has helped you out and hopefully not scrambled your brain too much. I tend to be a bit of a chatterbox, I know, but you know, I'm going by my experience alone, to try to take away a little something each time you go out for your ride. Try to learn a new technique. If it's your body positioning, if it's your vision you need to work on, you know, just keep at it. One little thing at a time, and you will get it. Alright guys, so if anybody has anything to add, drop it in the comments below. Let us know if there's anything you think I'd missed, or anything you think you could add. Pop it in, drop me a DM. I don't mind either way. Certainly always up for a good conversation. Alright my dudes, next time I see you, hopefully I'll be on the new bike. Catch you then, peace out.